What I do want to talk about is the idea of pre-visualization and to be able to think about where the light is at a particular time. Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. This week I'm once again back in Cornwall, and I'm returning to Cape Cornwall. I shot this location a few videos back. This video is really about trying to think about pre-visualization and trying to plan for a shoot. Now, for travel photography, for street photography, and most of the time landscape photography, I just like to go out and see what I can see and take photos of things that attract me at the time. And clearly for landscape photography, going out earlier in the morning or later in the evening works better. But for certain locations, particularly at the coast, particularly where you're looking at tides and locations that need the tides in and where the sun needs to be in certain locations, you need to plan a little bit more. So when I was here a few videos back, I realized that the sun, as the sun set, it really illuminates Cape Cornwall from the side. And to my mind, that looked like a great idea, but I didn't have a great location. And it took me reading a book by one of my favourite artist, a guy called Glyn Macy. He's done a book called The Tinner's Way, and in it he's got 2 or 3 fantastic pictures of Cape Cornwall, and they're shot from sort of this location. So I've come back at sunset, and I'm hoping I'm going to get a picture which tries to sort of emulate some of the warm tones in one of Glyn's images and the composition in one of the others. And this is the sort of location of one of his pictures. So I'm going to set up here, take that picture, and then move down. I hope that you'll enjoy these couple of pictures. So this video is a bit messed up. I intended to talk you through my process of taking some long exposures. I was knee deep in some water down at the old pier in St Ives, which are just some old groins which are there to support a pier that burnt down in the 1800s sometime. Just to try and show you how busy St Ives is, I took some time-lapse video and managed to leave it on time-lapse. So the video that I have of me explaining the video of taking the picture of the long exposure was all screwed up. What I do want to talk about is the idea of pre-visualization and to be able to think about where the light is at a particular time. Now, I'm just very close to St Ives. You can see it in the background here. And I came down the coast path this morning and I took this picture on my phone. And the idea for the picture are these 3 separate headlands. But the sun was, I was shooting into the sun. So although you got these layers which were all very nice, there was no light on the actual subjects. So I knew that I wanted to come back this evening when the light was going to be on this side, and hopefully you can see it's lighting this up very nicely. But also was thinking about the tide times. When I took the long exposure this afternoon, I waited until the tide was going out so that I could get in close to these groins, and so I planned for that. And this evening I knew that I wanted to make sure that I have water in this first pool, which I'll show you in a second, earlier on today I was down here, I took some long exposures and I'll show you those pictures as well, but the tide was out. The tide's back in now, so it's filling up the beach here, so that's what I'm looking to do. In terms of settings, it's going to be very simple. I'm going to be shooting at 160. I'll probably shoot at f8 or f10. There's no need to focus stack, and hopefully everything will be in focus, and I'm just waiting for some nice light on those 3 layers. After I've shot this, and because the beach is so busy I'm not going to vlog, I'm going to go down on the beach and shoot sunset, which is going to be in about another half, 3/4 of an hour. So after I shot that, I went down on the beach. As the sun set, I took some long exposures on the beach. I took some intentional camera movement, beach movement waves. And then the next morning I got up and I went and shot the pier in St Ives, and I've been waiting to do this for a long time, which is to get a really good picture of the lighthouse taken from the other side of the harbour. But I needed a longer lens, and now I have that 55 to 100. I really got that, so I'll show you a little bit of that. And so what I wanted to try and get across in this video is how important it is to think about when you're at the beach, when you're at the coastline, not only where the sun is rising and setting and what that will mean for shadows and light on headlands and rocks, etc., but also where the tide is and where the tide is in relation to some of the subjects that you may want to be shooting. So when you're thinking about light and when you're thinking about planning to go for a shoot, think about side light. If you've got rocks or headlands and places like that, light falling on the side of these subjects bring out the texture in the subject itself by creating shadows across the face of them. So think about where the light might be falling at any one time. And although I said earlier that I like to go out and find what I can see, in these sort of occasions, you can use a couple of tools to help you to make some planning. So this is Photo Pills, and it's a planner, and it's not the easiest thing to try and work out how to use it, but what I've done is I've dropped a pin on where I was standing that morning, and you can see these cliffs, which were the ones that are in the picture. And so what you might want to try and do is to work out when the sun might be hitting the side of these cliffs. And so by using photo pills, you can start at the beginning of the day, which is this yellow line here. That's sunrise, so the light is coming in from the top right. And then as the day progresses, you can see the movement of the sun, and so you can begin to work out when the best time of the day is. You're also trying to combine that with your tide times, and so one of the apps that I use for tide times is where is it? So one of the apps that I use is my tide times, and so here I've pulled up St Ives, and it gives you low tide, high tide, but also the phase of the moon, so you can look out for spring tides and neap tides. So that's a useful thing. And if you're also really interested in how big the waves might be, I use Magic Seaweed, which is a surf report which is used by the surfers, but it gives you when the high tides and low tides are. But at any time in the day, you can work out how big the swell is likely to be. The other thing that I did on Porthmeor is try to take some pictures of the waves really early morning, and these were more abstract pictures and really trying to capture sort of movement and tranquility in that early dawn. And I really hope those pictures have some effect for you as well. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it for you taking the time to watch my videos. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, make a comment. All of this helps the channel immensely, and I really appreciate it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and bye for now.